Hey creatives! Welcome to my channel. This is Sammy Says Create, and this is a channel where I do all sorts of DIY and creative projects, and I bring you along for the ride. Big hello if you're new here today. Hey, me too! This is my first official YouTube upload. Wow! And it has taken days and days and days. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll those titles. So this video will go through 5 creative projects that you can do at home with items that are lying around your house. It's that simple. As everyone knows, there are a lot of countries out there that are currently in lockdown because of the current situation. Now, it is really important that we all try and stay creative and we try and keep our minds busy, but obviously it's a lot harder to get hold of items, to get hold of materials. So therefore, this video is a perfect way to stay creative using the items that you can find dotted around your own home. They all look great, they all look really effective. These can be kept for yourself or even given as gifts. So grab your scissors, grab a brew, and let's get creative. So for my upcycled coasters, I used a scarf that I didn't wear anymore, but I absolutely love the material. It's got cupcakes on it. So here I'm cutting my material into strips that are roughly 1.5 inches wide, but these don't have to be perfect. If your scarf is a little bit longer, then don't worry too much. The next few steps I had to do because mine was a bit short. I then popped the strips into sections of 3 and I plaited them. I only ended up actually needing 6 strips to make 2 plaits. I then glued, or you could sew, the end. I also attached the 2 plaits together in the same way so that I had one big long plait. From here we are simply going to start from the end and roll and glue, or we're going to stitch every couple of inches just to hold the material together. And voila, there you have it. This can be made bigger using more plaits to make placemats or pan stands or other things like that. My second project was to jazz up these sad and lonely looking bowls. To do this as well, you will need a container of warm water that's big enough to submerge your bowls and some different nail varnish colours. I chose 3 different colours here, and you can use a cocktail stick or a skewer to mix them up to get the marbled effect. I then submerged the bowl into the water so it could slurp up the nail varnish. I should have left them to dry really and added an extra coat on this, but I just thought the pattern looks really cool and really jazzy anyway. Enjoy your new jazzy crockery, and to wash, simply hand wash with some warm water. Thumbs up here. Little extra tip for you. If you struggle getting any nail varnish off the bowl, then grab yourself some nail varnish remover and that should do the trick. Let's unleash our inner photographer. You will need your phone with a camera, some water, tablet, 2 piles of books, some oil and a glass bowl, preferably with handles. Use your piles of books to hold up your glass bowl so there's a hole underneath, pop in your water, pop in your oil and give it a bit of a mix around. Scroll through Pinterest or Google Images to find some images that really stand out. If you don't have a tablet, this can also be done with scraps of jazzy paper. And use your phone to snap away and experiment. Make them stand out a little bit more by using Instagram filters or using the editing app that comes with your phone. These images can be used for jazzy backgrounds for your devices, or even get them printed out and popped in the kitchen. This next creative project is one of my favourites, recycling at its finest. Get yourself a bean can, empty it out, fill it with water and pop it in the freezer. You will also need these items and a paper pattern. I'll leave some links in the description below. When the water has frozen, tape the pattern to the outside of the tin. Pop on the gloves because it can get pretty cold and we don't want you getting frostbite. And you're going to copy that pattern by hammering holes with your nail or screw. I found that 2 hits of the hammer did the job for me, but just make sure you're not too heavy-handed with it. A good tip is to start from the top down, as this is the bit that melts the quickest, and don't do it in the garden on a really hot sunny day. Unlike me, try and keep your pattern on the neat side of the tin. If you don't want to paint yours and you want to keep it silver, it will look better. Then leave your ice to melt. No, I'm melting! I gave mine a lick of paint just to make it a little bit more interesting when it isn't lit at night. Now you have a gorgeous lantern to chill and relax to in the evening. I think you'll agree this is an amazing way to recycle just a simple tin can, and it can be done with loads of different patterns and in loads of different ways. And the last creative project for you is a macrame plant holder. So I'm using the same scarf as I used earlier on, and again just marking 1.5 inches. I just used the same footage because I cut it all up at the same time. And this one's a little bit more complicated. You need 4 lots of 3 strings and you need to tie them in a knot at the top. You're then going to separate each 3 strings off and you're going to tie it into plaits and knot them about halfway down. So you should end up with 4 plaits knotted about halfway down. Then you're going to lay them out like this and split each of the strings at the bottom of the plait into a 2 and a 1. I hope that makes sense. Then take 2 sets of strings that are next to each other, so they should be off different plaits, and tie them into a knot. You're then going to do this all the way around, and you should get to the point where the 2 outside strings need tying to each other. Now I used an empty coffee jar for this, so any kind of glass container that is roughly around the same sort of size or shape will work equally. Now we're going to do the knotting again, but I put the strings into the actual coffee jar so that I could lay them out in a circle and still be able to do this. So this time you're going to do exactly the same thing. You're going to split the strips into 2 halves and you're going to tie in knots again and go all the way around. So make sure there is some material at the bottom so that we do have some stringy bits. My material was quite short, so I did use an elastic hair tie just to tie this off at the bottom instead of using a knot. Then what I did is I just cut into the strips to make them a little bit thinner so they weren't quite as bulky, and literally just popped the glass jar into our now constructed plant holder. So it should fit in quite nicely, it should be quite snug. This will obviously vary depending on how long your material is or how big your jar is, but the generic pattern will work for pretty much anything. You could add some extra knots in if you wanted to, and we are done. So there you have it. 5 awesome creative projects that you can do in your own home with just stuff that you've got lying around. What are you waiting for? You can start now. You can go now. Go. You're waiting for me to finish the video. I appreciate that. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. Please, please, please help and support me while I am trying to grow my channel. And if there's anything in particular that you want to see me make or create or try, pop a message down in the comments or find me on Instagram. It's xsammysaysx. I am that scene kid. No, I'm joking. It wasn't available without the X's. So until next Thursday, keep creative.